would say the pivotal time when I realized there was no going back and I didn't want to go back was when I did heroin for the first time. I would say that's when I knew this was a game changer. And this was something that I thought I needed in my life. It was something I welcomed, and it was something I thoroughly enjoyed for a long time until I couldn't control it anymore. Until I started to have to, be creative in ways to get it. And that encompassed many different things. There was, the sexual aspect, of course. I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't have sex for drugs or I didn't get paid for sex. I did, and I also, I was, stealing, lying, hustling, locking drug dealers in my home and having them beat down, taking all their stuff. Did that several times, holding knives to drug dealers' throats. I mean, it's a wonder that I'm not dead just from those things that I did,
I mean, you hear it over and over again, from people that have used drugs and stuff, and it's just like, it's an all-consuming, takes over your body almost to just get the next fix.
Oh.
Because I know you as a person now, and it's like to realize like that you would.
I know. And it's just, it just becomes a monster. It becomes this, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so far removed from who I am now. Yeah. And it's hard for me to put myself back into that mindset of feeling so empty. I mean, gosh, when I couldn't get my fix, I was a crying, weeping mess on the ground who felt like her best friend just got slaughtered in front of her. I mean, it was that deep. I was always grieving for my drug, always just so empty and lost if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And if I had it, I felt invincible. I used to do the craziest things. I used to walk into grocery stores or shopping stores, and I would just steal as if I was invisible. I felt invisible. I felt invincible. I thought I could do whatever the hell I wanted and screw the consequences. And I did that over and over and over again. And I mean, I don't know who I thought I was. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't have a concept of right and wrong. Like there was always these lines, and there were always these yet moments. You yet to do this, you've yet to do that. And I always raised the bar every time, and then it would become, I had no more yets. I didn't have any more left. I shattered all of them because there wasn't a line I wasn't willing to cross.
Wow.
For my drug. In the beginning, I would never prostitute. I would never have a crack house. I would never, and it was retarded because I literally didn't have any line that I wouldn't cross. It just depended on how much was stripped away, how much was I losing? And the more I lost, the more I had to do.
Right.
And so those yets were just gone. I didn't have any left. There isn't anything that I didn't do. Mm-hmm. There isn't.
That's going to be powerful because somebody's going to hear that and they're going to say, that's how I feel right now.
I remember the first time I got arrested for a hit and run car accident. And I didn't run with the car. I left the car at the scene and ran home because I could see my house and I had the dope on me and I was sick. And I was like, I'm just going to go home and do my thing and then I'll come back. Of course I didn't. Anyhow, I got arrested and I was in a cell and there was someone next to me in another cell. And she was talking to me because that's what you do when you're locked up. You just talk back and forth with the other prisoners. And I was really new at that point. I probably was in addiction 6 months. Thought I was so glamorous, even the drug dealers had a hard time selling to me because of how good I looked. They didn't believe I smoked crack. They didn't believe that I was shooting because I looked too good. Yeah. I spoke too well. I presented way too clean.
Yeah.
They thought I was a cop. Anyhow, I was talking to this girl in the cell and she's like, that's what she said to me. She said, you're going to run out of yets. She said, trust me. She said, there's going to come a day and all of your, I will never do this, I will never do that, I will never. She said, you're going to break every single one of them if you keep on going. And she was in there for murdering somebody on crack.
Gives me goosebumps.
She didn't remember doing it. And I tell you, I went through the same exact thing, chasing Mitch down the street with a Fatal Attraction knife because he found my crack pipe and was smoking what I had left on it. I was going to slice this person apart. I didn't even remember doing it. The police had to tell me that I was running up the street barefoot, chasing after him. I didn't even know.
Wow.
Point being, that's exactly what happened to this woman. And she was telling me, and I couldn't understand how she's sitting here telling me she doesn't remember slashing someone to death over crack.
Yeah.
But years later, I did the same thing. And I mean, imagine where I'd be now if I actually had succeeded in that craziness. I'd be sitting there talking to somebody else about what the yets were. You've yet to do this. You've yet to do that. And when you start breaking, and I never forgot that when she said that to me. I always, and every time I broke a yet, I was like, there it is. There it is. There it is. Every time.
Ticked one off the list.
I didn't have any left. Not one.
But
Crazy.
you didn't.
Huh?
You didn't.
I mean, I did it, yeah.
No,
I did it with one of my yets, which was to be sentenced in prison. That was one of my yets.
I know, but it stopped there, you know? I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
You know, like there's so many people, and it makes me so emotional because I think of moms that have lost their kids.
I know so many. I've lost so many friends. Yeah.
I mean, it is by the ultimate grace of God that you're sitting here, you know.
I know. I do. I know. Believe me.
I know you know. Yeah.
I do. I know that.
It was pretty close to after you had left you left, you know, your kids aren't with you anymore, right?
It was like a year later.
Was it? But you said it was like all consuming really quick.
So quick. First day.
First day.
First day.
Like,
and I remember daily? Too, we went, sorry?
Daily? Were you?
Oh, daily. Oh my gosh. Every couple hours. Yeah. I was terrible. The first time that I did it, that day that I first did it, and we went out to dinner and then we went and sang karaoke. Now I pride myself on being a pretty good singer. Mm-hmm. And I love karaoke. And I went there and I tried to sing and I couldn't. My heart was pounding and I was so amped up from the dope that I was just like unable to like really succeed at what I was trying to do. And I got off the stage and I walked off, and this guy who I don't know who he is, I still don't know who he is, and he looked at me and he said, you need to stop doing that heroin. Clear as day. And I was like, what? I denied it. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, okay. So he's obviously, because one thing that I've learned, once you are in that kind of a lifestyle, and even if you're out of it, you can identify it. Mm-hmm. I can tell anytime, anywhere, if someone's on dope or opiates. I can pick them out of a lineup. Easy. Really? Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's just a certain look that comes across them, you know. But it was my first time using, and this man saw it. And I thought I was slick. I'm like, you know, no way does anyone know that. And I thought it was great that I had this secret. Nobody knows that I'm blazing high right now.
Little did you, yeah. It was like you were blazing.
And I said that to Mitch. I was like, did you hear what that guy said to me? And he is like, and I'm like, can people really tell? And he was like, no. He's like, it's because he's done it before, whatever. And I'm like, I don't want people to know. I knew enough to be embarrassed. I knew enough to not tell people, because I mean, it was especially back then. I mean, this is in 2003. Back then, and maybe it was my own short-sighted view of it, but to me, heroin was always the ultimate taboo. Like, you don't do heroin unless you're just completely hopeless and whatever, or ultimately very, very rich, one or the other. But I mean, normal everyday people don't go around shooting needles into their body, and you don't go advertising it. I didn't even take anything out for dinner. It's okay. I know I didn't want to cook anyway.
Yeah, you don't need to cook. Pizza.
So funny. I actually am thinking pizza.
I
haven't had pizza in so long.
No, I don't even like pizza.
I can't even. I don't know what to say. You don't like chocolate and peanut butter together. You don't like pizza. Who doesn't like pizza? How can you not like pizza? What do you mean? I think we need to do a whole series on the things that you don't like that are just like insane to me. Your face, you're like.
My family, it's so funny because my family loves Reese's peanut butter cups and they love pizza. Like all of them. And I'm like,
You don't like pizza? Come on.
No, not really.
That's absolutely like just crazy.
It's not like I take a bite of it, I'm like, whoa, like that. It's just like.
But you're not like, this is so good.
No.
Oh my gosh. I love pizza. It's like my favorite.